Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Hey English. We're here to help you level up your English while diving into topics that matter to you. I'm Philip and I'm excited to chat with you today.
And I'm Sarah. Today, we've got a great topic lined up: personal goals and motivation. Whether you're setting new goals or looking for ways to stay motivated, we've got you covered. Plus, as always, we'll be sprinkling in some useful English tips along the way.
Absolutely. We'll be breaking down some key vocabulary, sharing grammar tips, and, of course, throwing in a few idioms and phrases that'll make you sound like a native speaker. So stick around, we've got a lot to talk about.
Let's get started and dive right into how you can set and achieve your personal goals while boosting your English skills. Ready, Philip?
Let's do this. So Sarah, let's talk about setting personal goals. You know, it's one thing to have dreams, but turning those dreams into concrete goals is where the magic really happens.
Exactly. And the best way to make sure you achieve your goals is by setting them up in a way that's realistic and measurable. Have you heard of SMART goals, Philip?
Absolutely. SMART goals are a fantastic framework. For those of you who might not be familiar, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's like a blueprint for success. When you set a goal, you want to be as clear and detailed as possible. For example, instead of saying, I want to get fit, a SMART goal would be, I want to run 5 kilometers, 3 times a week, for the next 3 months.
That's such a great point. Being specific and setting a timeline makes all the difference. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about some useful vocabulary. When we set goals, we often talk about our aspirations, which are our hopes or ambitions for the future. We also use the word milestones to describe significant stages or events in our progress. And of course, objectives are the steps we take to reach our larger goals.
Those are all key terms to keep in mind when discussing goals. Speaking of which, let's touch on some grammar. When you're talking about your goals, especially things you plan to do in the future, you'll often use future tenses like will or going to. For instance, I will start a new hobby this year, or I'm going to learn a new language.
Right. And here's a fun idiom for you: shoot for the stars. It means to set high goals or ambitions. Even if you don't reach the stars, you'll at least land on the moon, meaning you'll still achieve something great.
I love that idiom. It really captures the idea of aiming high. So, whether your goal is big or small, using the SMART framework and keeping these English tips in mind can help you stay on track. What's a personal goal you're working on, Sarah?
I'm working on improving my public speaking skills. I've set a goal to give at least one presentation or speech every month for the next 6 months. And you, Philip?
That's awesome. For me, I'm focusing on fitness. I've set a goal to complete a half marathon by the end of the year. It's all about breaking it down into smaller, achievable steps.
Those are great goals. And it's inspiring to see how setting specific, measurable objectives can really help us stay motivated and on track. So, to all our listeners, take a moment to think about your own goals. How can you make them SMART?
And remember, no matter what your goals are, the key is to keep pushing forward. Up next, we're going to dive into how you can stay motivated, even when the going gets tough. Stay with us. Now that we've got our goals set, the next challenge is staying motivated to achieve them. Let's be honest, it's easy to start strong, but keeping that momentum can be tough.
Definitely, Philip. Motivation can come and go, and that's completely normal. The key is finding ways to keep that fire burning, especially on days when you're not feeling as driven. One thing that helps me is focusing on why I set the goal in the first place. What's my deeper motivation behind it?
That's such a great strategy, Sarah. When you connect with your why, it can really help you push through those tough moments. There's actually a term for that: intrinsic motivation. It's when you're motivated by internal factors, like personal satisfaction or a sense of achievement. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards, like money or recognition.
Exactly. Both types of motivation are important, but I think the most lasting motivation often comes from within. Speaking of motivation, let's talk about some more vocabulary. Words like perseverance and resilience are key when discussing how to stay motivated. Perseverance is that steady persistence in sticking to your goal, even when it's difficult. And resilience is all about bouncing back from setbacks or challenges.
Those are powerful words. And when it comes to giving advice on staying motivated, we often use modal verbs like can, could, should, and must. For example, you should remind yourself of your progress regularly, or you must stay focused on your long-term vision.
Right. And there's another great idiom related to motivation: keep your eye on the prize. It means to stay focused on your ultimate goal, no matter what distractions or challenges come your way.
I love that one. It's a simple reminder to stay committed to what really matters. Another tip I've found helpful is breaking your goal into smaller milestones. Each small win can give you that boost of motivation to keep going. For instance, instead of focusing on the entire half marathon, I'm focusing on gradually increasing my running distance each week.
That's a smart approach. And celebrating those small victories is so important, it keeps the journey enjoyable. For me, I like to visualize what it will feel like once I achieve my goal. It's a way to keep that excitement alive.
Visualization is a great technique. It's like mentally rehearsing your success before it happens. So, whether it's visualizing the finish line, staying connected to your why, or celebrating small milestones, there are plenty of ways to keep yourself motivated.
Absolutely. So, to all our listeners, if you're ever feeling stuck or unmotivated, try one of these techniques. And remember, it's normal to have ups and downs. The important thing is to keep going, even when it gets tough.
Exactly. And speaking of tough times, up next, we'll talk about how to overcome obstacles that might stand in the way of reaching your goals. Stick around. So, we've set our goals and talked about staying motivated, but let's be real, life isn't always smooth sailing. We all face obstacles that can throw us off track.
That's so true, Philip. Whether it's unexpected challenges, a lack of time, or just feeling overwhelmed, obstacles are a natural part of any journey. What matters most is how we deal with them. Personally, I try to see obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow.
That's a great mindset, Sarah. It's like turning setbacks into stepping stones. One thing that helps me is reframing the situation. Instead of seeing an obstacle as something that's blocking my path, I try to view it as a challenge that I can overcome. It's all about perspective.
Exactly. And sometimes, just changing the way we think about a challenge can make a huge difference. Let's dig into some vocabulary that's useful when talking about obstacles. Words like hurdles, setbacks, and adversity come to mind. Hurdles are those little things that get in our way, while setbacks are bigger challenges that might slow us down. And adversity is a more general term for difficult situations that test our resolve.
Those are really important terms to understand. And when we're talking about how we might overcome these challenges, we often use the second conditional in English. For example, if I faced a major setback, I would find a new approach, or if I encountered a hurdle, I would push through it.
That's a great grammar tip, Philip. It's all about preparing ourselves mentally for what we might do in difficult situations. And speaking of preparation, there's an idiom that really resonates with me: when the going gets tough, the tough get going. It means that strong people don't give up when they face challenges, they rise to meet them.
I love that one. It's a reminder that we all have more strength and resilience than we might realize. Sometimes, overcoming an obstacle just requires a little creativity or a different approach. Like if you're struggling with time management, maybe breaking tasks into smaller chunks or prioritizing differently can help.
Absolutely. And don't forget, it's okay to ask for help when you're facing a tough situation. Sometimes, talking things through with a friend or mentor can give you a fresh perspective and new ideas for overcoming the challenge.
That's such good advice, Sarah. We don't have to go it alone. Whether it's finding a new strategy, shifting your mindset, or seeking support, there are always ways to overcome the obstacles in your path. It's all about staying flexible and not losing sight of your ultimate goal.
Exactly. So, if you're dealing with obstacles right now, remember that they're just temporary roadblocks. With the right mindset and approach, you can get past them and come out even stronger on the other side.
Now that we've talked about overcoming obstacles, let's explore another powerful tool that can help you reach your goals: visualization. It's a technique that a lot of successful people swear by, and it's something we can all use to stay focused and motivated.
Visualization is such a fascinating concept. It's all about creating a mental image of what you want to achieve. By picturing yourself successfully reaching your goal, you can actually boost your motivation and increase your chances of making it happen. It's like your brain starts to believe it's possible, and that belief drives your actions.
Exactly. It's like rehearsing success in your mind before it actually happens. For example, if you're aiming to give a great presentation, you might visualize yourself standing confidently, speaking clearly, and getting positive feedback from the audience. The more detailed your visualization, the more powerful it can be.
That's such a great point, Philip. And the best part is, you can use visualization for any type of goal, whether it's big or small. It's about building a mental image of success and letting that image guide you. Alongside visualization, I find that using affirmations, positive statements about what you want to achieve, can also be really effective.
Affirmations are definitely a great companion to visualization. When you repeatedly tell yourself things like "I am confident" or "I am capable of achieving my goals," you start to internalize those beliefs. Over time, they can really change the way you approach challenges.
Absolutely. And here's some more vocabulary that's useful when discussing these techniques: manifestation, mindset, and affirmations. Manifestation is about turning your goals into reality through focused thought and action. Your mindset is your attitude or outlook, which plays a huge role in how you approach goal setting and overcoming obstacles. And affirmations, as we mentioned, are those positive statements that reinforce your beliefs.
Those are powerful words. And when we talk about visualization as an ongoing practice, we often use the present continuous tense in English. For example, I am visualizing my success every day, or I am setting aside time each morning to focus on my goals.
Great point, Philip. And there's an idiom that ties in perfectly with visualization: picture yourself in the winner's circle. It means to imagine yourself succeeding, which is exactly what visualization is all about.
I love that idiom, it really captures the essence of staying focused on success. Another practical tip is to create a vision board. This can be a physical or digital collection of images, words, and phrases that represent your goals. Seeing that visual reminder every day can help keep you on track and motivated.
Vision boards are such a creative way to keep your goals front and center. And they're also a fun way to engage with your goals in a more tangible way. Whether you use a vision board, visualization exercises, or affirmations, the key is consistency. The more you practice these techniques, the more natural they become.
Exactly. It's all about integrating these practices into your daily routine. So, if you haven't tried visualization or goal setting techniques like these before, give them a shot. You might be surprised at how much they can help you stay focused and motivated.
And remember, the journey to achieving your goals is just as important as the destination. So enjoy the process, keep visualizing your success, and stay committed to your path.
So, we've covered a lot of ground today: setting goals, staying motivated, overcoming obstacles, and using visualization. But sometimes, the best way to bring these concepts to life is through personal stories. Sarah, do you have a story that really highlights how these techniques have worked for you?
Definitely, Philip. A few years ago, I set a goal to learn Spanish. At first, I was super motivated, but as time went on, I started to lose steam. There were moments when I felt like giving up, especially when I hit a plateau and it seemed like I wasn't making any progress. But then I remembered why I started. I wanted to connect more deeply with my friends who are native speakers. That motivation kept me going.
That's such a great example, Sarah. It shows how connecting with your why can really pull you through those tough times. Did you use visualization as part of your process?
I did. I started visualizing myself having fluent conversations in Spanish, and it made a huge difference. Every time I imagined myself confidently speaking the language, it gave me a boost of motivation to keep studying, even on the days when I didn't feel like it. And sure enough, over time, I started to see real progress.
That's amazing. It's inspiring to see how visualization and a clear sense of purpose can lead to success. For me, a similar experience was when I decided to complete a marathon. I had never run more than a few miles, so it felt pretty daunting at first. But I set a SMART goal, breaking it down into manageable milestones, first 5 kilometers, then 10, and so on.
How did you stay motivated during the training, especially on those long runs?
Visualization played a big role. I would picture myself crossing the finish line, exhausted but triumphant. That mental image was powerful, especially on days when my legs were sore or the weather was bad. I also kept reminding myself of how I feel after achieving such a big goal. It kept me going, step by step. And eventually, I did it. I crossed that finish line, and it was every bit as rewarding as I'd imagined.
That's such a great story, Philip. It really shows how breaking down a big goal, staying motivated, and using visualization can lead to incredible results. And I love how both of our stories highlight the importance of persistence and mindset.
Exactly. Whether it's learning a new language, running a marathon, or any other goal, the techniques we've discussed today can make a real difference. It's all about staying committed, even when things get tough, and believing in your ability to succeed.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners, we hope our stories inspire you to keep pushing towards your own goals. Remember, you've got the tools and the mindset to make it happen. Just keep moving forward, one step at a time.
Well said, Sarah. Now, as we wrap up today's episode, let's leave you with some final thoughts on how to apply everything we've discussed. Stay tuned. So, as we bring today's conversation to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered. We've talked about setting SMART goals, staying motivated, overcoming obstacles, using visualization, and even shared some personal stories to bring it all to life.
It's been such a rich discussion, Philip. I think the biggest takeaway is that achieving your goals is a journey. There will be ups and downs, but with the right mindset, techniques, and a bit of persistence, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just about reaching the finish line, it's also about growing and learning along the way. Each step you take brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself.
And if you ever feel stuck or unmotivated, just revisit some of the techniques we've talked about today. Whether it's visualizing your success, breaking down your goals into smaller steps, or simply reminding yourself why you started, there's always a way to keep moving forward.
That's right, Sarah. And we're here to support you on that journey. We hope today's episode has given you some useful tools and inspiration to tackle your personal goals with renewed energy and confidence.
We'd love to hear from you, too. If you have any stories, tips, or questions about goal setting and motivation, feel free to share them with us. Your experiences might just inspire someone else in our community.
Definitely. So, keep setting those goals, stay motivated, and don't be afraid to dream big. You've got this.
Thanks for joining us today. We can't wait to see what you achieve, and we're looking forward to sharing more tips and insights with you in our next episode.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. See you next time on Hey English. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for your personal best. See you next time.
See you next time.